Hi, and welcome to San Francisco. I'm Captain David with Spinnaker Sailing here at Pier 40. Today we're going to go over two important topics: line handling and putting the boat to bed. I can't tell you how many times I have cringed watching people bringing their boat into dock. I have seen people holding lines like spaghetti, tripping on lines, jumping off boats, and not knowing how to steady the boat at the dock. So let's start with line handling. In the docking video you just watched, you saw Captain Karen dock the boat by herself. When she stepped off, you noticed that she did not have any dock lines in her hands. But the lines are ready to be unhitched. They are here at the shrouds and at the stern. In the video where our students are docking the boat, you see the crew member step off and steady the boat without lines in his hands. Great, now that the boat is steadied and we have one member on the dock, we can begin the process of securing our dock lines. Let's start with the bow and stern line. Bow and stern line control the in and out movement of the boat alongside the dock.
By stepping off and steadying the boat at the lifelines, it allows time and stability for another crew member or the tiller person to work their way off the boat and unhitch the bow line. After Josh removes the bow line, he brings it to the first cleat that is in front of the bow with a secure turn. Let's look at that again. He leads the line under the furthest horn of the cleat, then under the next horn, and then stands and pulls the line across the horn towards himself to control the bow. You'll see how we use the secure turn while positioning the boat later. Now I can move to the stern and unhitch the stern line and make a secure turn on the closest cleat aft of the stern.
What a secure turn does is it allows you to maintain control and purchase of the line and the boat.
I often see people trying to control a boat like this. But with a secure turn, we can stop the boat by just pulling back against the cleat. To bring the boat back into the dock, we can pull up on the section of line that is between the cleat and the boat.
The secure turn also allows two people to position the boat without losing control.
With our lines controlling the boat with a secure turn, Josh and I are going to position the boat so both fenders are against the dock and so that this deck ring is positioned between these two cleats for our spring lines. Once the boat is positioned, I can cleat off the stern line. But Josh is not going to cleat off the bow line just yet. I want to change the knot on the fenders from a clove hitch to a round turn and 2 half hitches. I'll also adjust the height of the fenders. I don't want them in the water, and I don't want them too high or above the dock. Here you can see why I didn't have Josh cleat off the bow line. The fender is too tight to the dock. Josh eases the line and gives me more room to adjust the fender. When I'm done, he brings the bow back in and cleats off the line.
Now we need lines to prevent the forward and aft movement of the boat. These lines are called spring lines, and because our bow and stern lines are long enough, we're going to use them as our spring lines.
First, each person should redirect their line around the furthest horn of their cleat to prevent the line from pulling on the hitch. Then we can both take our lines to the deck ring we positioned between the two cleats on the dock. Now all we need to do is bring the lines back to our cleats at an angle and cleat them off.
So that worked out perfectly. But what do you do if you don't have a cleat for your spring line or that cleat is too far away? Well, what we're going to do is create a spring line by tying the line to itself. And this is how we do it. First thing I'm going to do is get my bitter end and go through the base of the stanchion. Now I know you can see the cleat, but let's just pretend it's not there. So the stanchion base provides a nice solid hold. Now I'm going to do my round turn. I'm going to go around the stanchion itself. Great, so that's a round turn, and now we're going to add 2 half hitches. So I'm going to show you a little trick before we do the 2 half hitches. I'm going to take this line and coil it. Great. Now our lines are parallel. I'm going to cross that line and then come up through the hole that I've created. There's 1 half hitch, parallel, cross, up through the hole, 2 half hitches. And this way we still have a great angle for our spring line. There, the boat is nicely secured. Now, much like the rigging process, we want a repeatable system for putting the boat to bed that ensures that we are inspecting the gear and that the boat is ready for the next crew to take out.
Let's start with the outboard. First thing to do is close the air vent on the fuel cap. Then you can close the fuel line and make sure the engine is in neutral. Now, raise the throttle arm and lift the engine out of the water. Next is to remove the halyard from the head of the mainsail. Now, go to the end of the boom and attach it to the pad eye that the topping lift is attached to. Please do not attach the halyard to any part of the outhaul. Don't forget to take the slack out and cleat the halyard off down below. Now we can move on to flaking the mainsail. Let's remove the sail ties and dump the sail into the cockpit. Flaking the main involves making a series of folds or loops that alternate from side to side. We want the sail's weight to be balanced as it lays on the boom. You also want to keep the luff close to the mast for an easy raise for the next crew. With the flaking done, we can attach our sail ties. You don't have to cinch the heck out of them. Just make them tight enough to keep the sail in place and easy enough to remove for the next raise. Now grab the sail cover from down below. Lay the cover out and make sure it is right side up. Secure the clips at the mast. Tie off the back around the topping lift with a square knot. And move on to the clasp at the bottom of the cover. As I grab the main sheet, you'll notice I've left a clasp open. This is where the main sheet will go after I coil it. Coiling the line clockwise, I'm going to start by making a large loop. Then all of my next loops will be about 2/3 in size. When done, I'm going to grab my first large loop and wrap it 2 times around all the other loops. But don't catch the section of line going back to the cam cleat. After the second wrap, go through the front and out the back, creating a hanging loop. Now put that loop between the clasp and lock it off. While still in the cockpit, we can remove the stopper knots from the jib sheets. and release them from the jib sheet cam cleats. To secure the tiller, first release the backstay from its cam cleats. Then take the section from between this block and this fair lead. Bring your section over the tiller and then re-tension the backstay just enough to center the tiller. Now coil the backstay line and tuck it here. With that done, Josh can move forward and take the jib sheets off the clew of the jib and coil them for storage.
Now there are several ways of coiling a rope. It usually depends upon how you are going to store it or what the line is used for. In this case, it's our jib sheet, not particularly concerned how I coil it, but I know I'm going to stow it down below, so it doesn't need to be complicated, yet at the same time I want it to be easy to uncoil. So let me show you how to do that.
Just like coiling the main sheet, I'm going to start with a large loop. Then the loops after that will be about 2/3 in size. Remember to coil clockwise. Again, just like coiling the main sheet, I'm going to wrap the large loop around the rest 2 times and then go through the front and out the back. The difference here is, after coming out the back, I'm going to bring the loop over the top to secure everything in place.
So there you go, nice and neat. You can just stow it down below. It's not attaching to anything, and it's going to be very easy to uncoil.
Before we take the jib off, let's reposition the bow like we did when rigging the boat. You don't have to take all the lines off to do this. Here, you can see Josh and I releasing our spring line cleat hitches and our bow and stern cleat. Now Josh can bring the bow in and cleat off his line. What I'll do is tension my spring line to bring the bow a little closer and cleat the line off. Now we can work on the jib.
Good.
The first thing we need to do is release the jib halyard from its cam cleat so Josh can undo the bowline on the head of the jib. With that released, Josh will attach it to the mast at the lower ring with a bowline. And then take out the slack and pop the line into the cam cleat. Now he can coil the slack and tuck it here. Now Josh can unclip each hank. See how he keeps the sails stacked as he releases each one? Now he releases the tack and can pick up the sail and put it on the dock for flaking. First, find the head and foot and lay the sail out. Now we can flake the sail. Find the second hank from the foot and flake it down to the first hank. Repeat this until you get to the head. Now I'm going to fold this section over and then fold the sail and put it into the sail bag. While Josh stows the bag below, I'll get the companionway covers from the dock box. Great, we are almost done. Let's reposition the boat like we had it after we docked. Remember, our lines are already set up. I'll release my spring line, and Josh will release his bow cleat hitch and push the bow out while I reposition the stern. Don't forget to redirect your line around the horn after tying your cleat hitch. Now together, we can tension our spring lines and cleat them off. Perfect. Now don't forget to hose off the boat and the outboard.
When it comes to boating, everything we do is important. Having a good system and a clear understanding of how to do things helps to eliminate mistakes. Well, we hope you found this video helpful for your classes. And until next time, cheers.